Hello guys, welcome. For the continuation of this call that I explained you in last two videos about the bones that cover the brains and also the bones that are in the visceral part, I also told you that we have different bones that are located inside the skull, but the size is small for these kinds of bone. The first one is ethmoid bone. Okay, the things that you remember from ethmoid bone is concha. Let me show you the concha again in the nasal cavity. Uh-huh. These parts are concha, which is the part of the ethmoid bone. So, what is ethmoid bone and where is the location of this bone? Ethmoid bone is a small bone which a part of it is located in the frontal bone. It's located here, this gray one bone, and it has the sharp part, and in lateral part of this sharp part we have cribriform plate. If you can see these holes, we call this part as a cribriform plate, and all these foramen, all these parts, all these holes that you learn from the skull are very important because different types of artery, vein, and nerve will pass through this kind of foramen. For now, you just need to know about the name of the foramen, the different types of the bone, the different parts of the bone. But later I'm going to explain you about that which nerve will pass through these different foramen. Okay? So, for the first bone which is located inside the skull, the first one is ethmoid bone that I told you. In lateral part we have like a plate, we call it cribriform plate because it has these holes, and the nerve. If you want to know the name of the nerve that will pass through this foramen is olfactory nerve for smelling, for example. Okay, um, another thing that you need to know about the ethmoid bone is there is some air cell in the structure of ethmoid bone. These air cell make a type of sinus. You need to know about different types of sinus that is located in the skull in your face. One of the sinuses is belong to the ethmoid bone. Another bone that I want to talk about is sphenoid bone, the yellow one that you can see in the picture. It's like a butterfly, so it should have a wing, right? It has two kind of wing. This one, we can call it the lesser wing because its size is small, and another one is greater wing. So, and it you know that this picture is half of the skull. Okay, so the butterfly bone that we call it sphenoid bone has two wing. The I mean by size, the small one and the greater one, and in the middle part we have body. This part is body, and the most important thing for this body is sella torsica. This part is sella torsica, that is the place for a gland, the hypophyse gland or pituitary gland. It's important. So the sella torsica is a place for which gland? Hypophyse or pituitary gland. It's important. Another thing, let me erase this part. Another thing that you need to know about the sphenoid bone is about different types of foramen that you can see, for example, in the greater wing. These foramen, these, and these small foramen. For remembering this, you can remember the word rus. The first one is rotundum. This is the first one. The second one is oval, and the third one is spinous foramen. That the third one is small. You need to know from each kind of foramen which nerve, which artery, and which vein will pass through. Okay, it's important. So these three foramen are located in the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. Also, we have another foramen which is between the body of the sphenoid bone and also the temporal bone. It's this foramen. Okay, you know that this is the body of the sphenoid bone, and these all bone, this pink one is a temporal bone, and the foramen that is made with the help of these two bones, I mean the body of sphenoid and the temporal, is lacerum. Okay, let me show you another view from this picture. Okay, you can see here also this part. If you can see, the gray one is ethmoid bone, and this sharp part, we call it crista galli, the sharp part that I explained in the previous picture. Okay, and is located in the frontal bone, the blue one. And also you can see the yellow bone, the sphenoid bone here in this picture. The lesser wing and the greater wing is visible here, and also you can see this part is sella turcica, that pituitary gland or hypophysis is located here. And another thing that you need to know about the sinuses that is located in the sphenoid bone. I told you about the sinus which is located in ethmoid bone, the air cell. That is very important. And also here in a sphenoid bone we also have sinuses. Okay, so till now you learned two types of sinuses. One in ethmoid bone, another one is in a sphenoid bone. Okay, and about the concha that I told you. Concha, as I told you in the previous video, is a part of ethmoid bone, right? And it's visible in nasal cavity. This picture is from lateral view. It's not from frontal part. The concha is this white one, and also this a brown one. The white one, that are two because it's superior and middle nasal concha. The first one is superior and the second one is middle. Superior nasal concha and middle nasal concha. These two are belong to the ethmoid bone and they attach to each other. But about the third one, this is the third one. It's inferior nasal concha and it's the separate bone from this. Okay, remember, it's very important. And it's about the nasal concha from the lateral view. That is important.